those steps. And what Congress might be able to do as well is a doctor and Iowa Congresswoman Marionette Miller-Meeks. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be with you both.
You know, President Trump, along with Congress, you guys have supported some really, really innovative measures to bring the pharmaceutical industry back to the United States. It seems like maybe one of the most influential is the regulatory relief that could be offered as an incentive to bring that industry back home. But what are going to be some of the next steps that are important to making sure that this solution is finally brought home, sewed up with a bow on it, so that the American people can feel secure about the drugs that they might need in a crisis?
What's interesting about this is that certainly the pandemic highlighted the need to have pharmaceutical supply chains here in the United States. We talked a lot about this. We talked about the strategic national reserve and how we onshore, how we have things available. As you know, we have drug shortages for different drugs intermittently throughout the years. We know that there was difficulties getting medications or milk or pet food from China. If people remember a decade ago, those issues that had arisen. And so even though we know this is a problem, and both candidates talked about it in the run-up to the 2020 election, we had 4 years where absolutely nothing was done. So this president is finally doing something about it. And so I think the platform that they have put forward on advanced pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, also key pharmaceutical ingredients, KPIs. We've done some things in Congress. We just had a hearing on this in the Energy and Commerce Committee, on the Health Subcommittee, of which I'm a member. So we've had a hearing on that. We will be doing more. We'll be addressing drug shortages. And so in alignment with what the president is doing, recognizing the need for manufacturing, generic manufacturing, having more competition and more available. And let me also say that in addition to what the president has just released, what Congress did and the president signed was the One Big Beautiful Bill. So when it comes to manufacturing and support for manufacturing, all of those provisions, the tax provisions, the capital expensing, the keeping the corporate interest rate down, the bonus depreciation, immediate expensing 100% for research and development, or R&D, all of those are things that help us to build manufacturing here in Iowa and in the United States. But more importantly, it helps any kind of company, and pharmaceutical companies are one that's going to benefit. The other thing is we have to make sure that the FTC does its job. And when there's too much vertical integration, so it ends competition, then that's where the FTC needs to step in when you have consolidation in a marketplace, so you don't have competition that helps bring down costs. And then thirdly is the work that we're doing on pharmacy benefit managers and looking at the entire supply chain, looking at this opaque middleman and helping to bring supply costs down. But it also helps support pharmaceutical industry, including generic pharmaceuticals.
Pretty impressive what's been accomplished in a few short months. And Congresswoman, you've been at the forefront of this in Congress, one of the most influential persons there. Now we got Jay Bhattacharya, the president, on the administration side. It seems like the bookends are built. We've got the supply chain now bringing in the ingredients, and we're finally filling a strategic reserve that Joe Biden left empty. And we've got the incentives to build these big manufacturing facilities that are maybe 2 to 5 years out. A lot of people are wondering, what are some of the innovative ideas to fill the gap when you have the ingredients but not the manufacturing capability? I know there are some new technologies where basically you can build a factory in a room, and you don't have mass scale, but you can start making some of the drugs in their entirety. Can you give us some of the things you've been looking at that maybe is a good interim solution until we get those big, beautiful factories back?
Well, first, let me say what you mentioned about the Strategic National Reserve. So it's critically important. And so we're looking at, when we're talking about advanced pharmaceutical ingredients, or key pharmaceutical ingredients, those are the building blocks for medications, be they generics, be they generic antibiotics. Having a reserve of those is critically important, because that's how you build those medications. So first and foremost, I think that portion of it, looking at the building blocks, the supply chain, people hadn't really looked at that. And as I said, we just had a hearing on this in the Energy and Commerce Committee. So I think that's important. The tax provisions are important also, but we also have to expand that to testing reagents, those ingredients that we know that there was a short supply chain, and then looking at where we have drug shortages and how we have those components. So you can have tax provisions that help with manufacturing. To your point, we have some manufacturers already here. Can we use compounding pharmacies in the interim for short-term shortages? That's not a long-term solution, but it is a solution to use compounding pharmacies already in the United States. And we're already doing that with some of the medications we have in shortages until we allow larger manufacturing facilities to be stood up. So I think that we've got the key building blocks to be able to do this. And then we've got some interim provisions that will assist also. So I think we're on the right track. We just need to, recognize the problem, which we've done, and then put forth solutions to that problem.